based on how much you are able to recollect or remember from yesterday. So there I go, putting up my first question. And yeah, I hope you can all see the question. Can you provide you, are you able to see the question on the chat? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. All right, keep answering. Okay, I see a few B's, a few D's, C also. So I'm just reading out the question. How many customer personas should a business have? Is it only one for each product or service offered? As many as needed to represent all potential customer groups, and it depends on the size of the business. Oh, somebody is very optimistic. Vimla says all, I guess. All right. So the answer would be as many as needed to represent all potential customer groups, because you want to empathize with your customer. So if you have enough representation from your customer groups to be able to empathize with them and understand their needs, you'll be able to better design the project. So C is the right answer. Okay, so we also did the empathy maps. If you remember, there are 4 quadrants. If not, let's answer this question to see how many of those you remember. There's somebody called Raj who's observing Paul while he was shopping, and Paul feels frustrated while searching for a product for from the department store. Now, what is frustration as an emotion, and in which quadrant should it be? Yeah, correct. It's a feeling, yes. Correct. Fantastic. All right, one more to go. Let's see if you get this. What should designers do with an empathy map after filling in the quadrants? Use this information to conduct more surveys, use this information to author a research, use this information to offer more promotions, or use this information to pinpoint customer needs. Yeah, that's right. So we want the empathy maps are basically to understand the pain points, to understand how the customer is, and understand more about his needs. So it is the customer needs. All right, let's do one last question, and then we can have a quick recap of what we've done yesterday. Which of the following is a complete Hill statement? The college promises engineering students with 100% placement. Toddlers is an app that helps mothers to engage with their toddlers. Diagno is an app that provides medical history records of patients to doctors in any part of the world in 5 minutes. I see one answer there from Khatija. It's a C. How about the rest? Alka says also C. So if you remember, whenever we have a need statement, there are 3 parts to the need statement. One is the who, that is the person or the user for whom you are addressing this solution. And the second part is what, that is what is the need that is being met. And the third part is the wow, or the differentiator. So if you see in the third statement, that is Diagno, That's the app that provides medical history records of patient to doctors. So doctors are the users and they are getting the medical history records of the patients. And the wow is that they can be placed at any part of the world and still they can access these records within 5 minutes. So really that statement completes the Hill statement definition. But if you also see the college promises engineering students with 100% placement, that also seems to be more of a complete statement. If you see here, the users are engineering students. What is the college promising or what is the need being met is the placement. And what is the wow factor is that everybody who goes into the college gets placed. So it's also in a way a completely met Hill statement. Okay. Unlike the second one, where Toddlers is an app that helps mothers to engage with toddlers, there's really no differentiator there. So that's where we cannot say that it's a complete Hill statement. All right.
Smita, are you sharing your screen because it's not visible?
Not yet. I'm still reading out of the chat and chat window answers. Now I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Okay. The questions you had not pushed in the chat, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I think the question only went to Khatija and so she answered. It keeps changing somehow. Is it the only, I think it's only the last question. Yes. Now can you see the question? I'm so sorry. I think the last question only went to Khatija. Whoever was the last joining. Sorry. Can you, now probably you can try and answer this question once again. Everyone. I got an answer as A and D. There is no D in that options. There are only 3 options. C.
Prachi also says D.
There are only 3 options, A, B, and C. There is no D. Okay. Some of them said A and some of them had said C. That's exactly what we discussed just a minute back. I can repeat it again. Like I said, Hill statement has 3 parts: the who, the what, and the wow. So if you see the last, the C point, where we're saying Diagono app provides medical history records to patients to doctors in any part of the world in 5 minutes. So here we're saying doctors are the users. What is the need being met is the access to medical history records of their patients. And what is the wow factor is that they can access these records across the world at any point in time in just 5 minutes. So that's the wow. And like I said, the point A also has the similar tone to it, that engineering students are the users and placement is what is being promised or the need being met. And the wow factor is that it is 100% placement. All right, so both A and C qualify. I'll also post back the second or third question. I think that also went only to one user. So let me see if you all can see this question. What should designers do with an empathy map after filling the quadrants? Use it to conduct more survey, use it for author research, for more product promotions, or pinpointing customer needs? Yeah, that's fairly an easy question. All this is for us to, all the design thinking exercise is for us to focus on the customer, his needs, his experiences, and all of that. So yes, D is the right answer. All right, team, I'm sharing back my screen. Thanks for participating in the quiz. So I hope you're able to see the screen. let's do a quick recap along with the example of yesterday so that we can touch base upon all the points. So yesterday we saw that there was a business opportunity being met, which was to open a salad studio to provide right nutrition to women. So while we were doing that, we're trying to learn about the user persona. So user persona is somebody who's a representative of a larger population of customers, and you're bringing that user persona live so that you know that person in in blood and flesh, to understand that person, to understand what the experience of the person is by knowing more about the person. So we created a persona called Disha, who is a working woman and who wants a solution to have a healthy lifestyle through a healthy diet in a sustainable way in her regular day. All right. So Disha then has been mapped on the empathy map with her feelings, reactions, emotions, and what she's expecting. So we saw that she had a few requirements, and the process is taking a few actions while she's thinking some of the while exhibiting some concerns and some feelings. So this is what we saw Disha had done. So empathy map basically helps us understand more about Disha and her needs, and also try and understand her pain points. And finally, as we said, this is the need statement we arrived at, where Disha needs to focus on her health and fitness, so that her daily nutritional needs are met in a sustainable way. So this is a need statement we arrived at. Okay. And so far, so clear. Can we have some thumbs up? All right. So before proceeding further, I'll just take a pause and ask you, do you have any questions from yesterday's session? Anything you want to clarify from me before we add more concepts to the whole exercise? All right, there's a silence, so I'm assuming the silence is good and everyone understood everything. So today we're going to look at the as-is scenario maps. Now, what is as-is scenario map? So this is a map that helps us empathize with the user over a specific period of time. Now, how is empathy map different from as-is scenario map? Okay. So whenever somebody is making a decision, whenever your customer or you're designing a product for a customer and the customer is making a decision to buy that product, or the user is making a decision to use that product, they go through their process. Like, for example, I am a fairly young working woman and setting up my home, and I want to buy my first TV. So what is the process I go through? Okay. So it starts with me understanding what's my budget, right? And then also understanding what are the latest brands available in the market, or the latest technologies available in the market. So my second thing is to research. I could research by going online. I could research by talking to my friends and family. I could research by visiting some shops and understanding the quality of the equipment. All of that is my second step. Okay, so my process starts with understanding my needs. My process starts with researching on how those needs could be met. My process then moves on to pointing out a few options. Say, this fits into my budget. This is slightly above my budget, but a better technology, or this is slightly below my budget, but it's not covering all the features. So then I list down a few options. Then I actually go. Okay, so there was some background talk. I muted everyone again, and I'm sharing back my screen. So like I was explaining, I go through a certain process of researching, or finalizing a few options, visiting a few places, taking down my notes, then eventually making the decision, and then paying up to buy the TV and get it done, fixed into my home, and experiencing the TV as such. So this whole process is over a specific period of time, from where I thought that thought came into mind to buy a TV to the point where I actually bought the TV and experienced the TV. This is happening over a period of time. So this scenario, which is happening over a period of time, leaves me with certain sets of emotions, certain sets of actions, and certain sets of feelings when I'm doing it. So as a customer, you've empathized with your user. I mean, as a designer, you've empathized with your user by empathy maps. Now you're also trying to empathize with the user while he's going through a process of making a decision of using the design or using the product or buying the design and product. So as a scenario is exactly a chart that portrays users' current experience through all these steps of making the decision. All right. So let me show you a bit more so that you can understand better. So this is how an as-is scenario looks like, where on the top, you will have this, you will list down the steps in the process for the user for making that decision, and also write down a few points under doing, thinking, and feeling. So usually in a workshop setup, at this point, you are going to diverge. First, agree upon the steps when through a converging dialogue, that you all sit in as a team and say that, oh, this is the process that is there for the user, and then diverge. That is, you all individually then start pasting your post-its against each of the step and against each of the process step, and then review those all post-its together to see what are the pain points. So this is how it usually looks when you do a workshop. So in this, for example, for a particular track, for a particular user, there is a planning, initiating, and then eventually leading him to pay and track. Okay, that's his process. And in that process, he's doing certain things, he's thinking a certain way, he's feeling a certain way in each of the steps in the process. Like at planning stage, probably he's feeling tired, he's feeling like lack of information, or he's feeling, anxious. At the pay stage, probably the anxiety kicks in again. At the tracking stage, he's impatient. He's like, he's totally busy, and he feels rushed. So at each stage, what are the actions he's taking? And at each stage, when he's taking certain actions, what is his current experience when he doesn't have the solution you're trying to provide to him? So that is exactly what we're trying to understand by building an as-is scenario. Okay. So the next step is, like, as I said, while we're doing this, understanding each phase and writing or getting the inputs under each phase individually by diverging, and we posting all the post-its on this chart. So we are all ideating silently. And then once we finish ideating silently, then we converge and we'll start labeling those ideas. Saying, like, I have 4 people in my team who are all individually thinking of these steps. And eventually say, I may also say that, yeah, he's feeling anxious. Somebody else also may say that he's having anxiety. So anxious, anxiety, all tends to the same kind of a feeling. So we group those feelings together. Similarly, somebody is saying that while buying a television, I want to review technology on Google. I want to review technology on some other platform. Okay, so so all such similar ideas, you can group them together and see how many of these ideas are similar, and how many of these ideas are the real pain points at each phase for each of for this user at each stage of his decision making. So you are all grouping together using finding out the pain points and grouping them wherever possible to arrive at the important pain points you want to address in the experience as you're starting to build that product for or service for that user. Okay, so that's the theory. Now I will also lead you to how in our example for nutrition, needs of Disha, how this whole thing might look like. This is something I kind of brainstormed with my team and came up with. So this Disha, when she's thinking of having a nutrition plan for herself, probably she'll have three parts to her whole journey. One is she researches about the how to do it. She actually makes a choice, and then she purchases the choice, or she implements that choice. Okay. So at the stage of research, probably she's doing what she's doing to understand what exactly do I need to eat? What are the nutrition needs or nutrition goals exactly? Or what are the options I have to get meet these goals? She might be thinking that are these options easy? I mean, are they expensive? Are they okay? Do I get fresh food or not? And she also feels skeptic about the quality of the food and maybe worried about the cost of the food. But eventually, when she moves to the research from research, she has made up her mind and on like say she has a couple of options, then she may be evaluating those options, checking for the possibility for delivery from for her at the time suitable to her to get the product for her to experience. Then she may also think at that point, do I have to right away pay for everything? Can I get some trial runs? Or is there any way I can read reviews about this service or product? Shruti, can you go on mute, please? Shruti GM, please go on mute. All right. Okay. So, and she's also feeling skeptical, anxious to make the decision, especially if you're paying up a lot upfront, you'll definitely feel anxious. But then she's like, okay, let me go ahead and make the purchase. So she chose a solution, paid for it as a part of the actions, and then still there is some sort of skepticism in our head. Did I pay more? Did I pay less? Can I get to really keep a track of what is the food I'm eating over a period of time? Is my nutrition met every day? Like maybe when I start off, they're giving me good food, but over the period of time, what if they degrade the quality? What if they're not giving the right mix of things for me to take care of the daily nutrient goals in a sustained way? So she's worried still, she's anxious still about the plans. So this is all what is she experiencing in the current scenario. Okay, but at every stage of a decision, there is some pain point, there's some inconvenience, there's some anxious feeling, there's some restlessness inside your user because they don't have the right solution or the product. Okay, so that's where the whole as a scenario is being built to understand how your user is actually trying to go through the entire process with the current experiences and what are those experiences for the user. All right. So I'll take a pause here and now ask you the question as to, did you understand this? Are you able to empathize with the user in a better way after doing this exercise? Can I get some thumbs up if you have understood? Okay, so I would like to invite any one of you, in fact, just take a couple of minutes, say 2 or 3 minutes. Yesterday, we've done this exercise of writing down your own opportunity statement, business opportunity statement. And some of you built the user personas and also discussed with me on the empathy maps. So can you continue that thinking forward for the same example and try and figure out an as-is scenario for your user? Let's take, say 5 minutes from now. And can we write down the plan and the 3 steps and the different points under each of those steps in the grid? I'll leave the screen for you so that you will have some reference. Maybe then I can call over somebody to present their plan at the end of it. So I'm going to time it for 5 minutes. Please go ahead and build your as a scenario. Vimla, I didn't see your message earlier about Disha's persona, but do you still want to see? Can you type in yes or no on the chat window if you still want to see her persona? I can go back. Okay, I'll just go back to the persona of Disha. Let me know when you are done so that I can switch back the screen. Oh, thank you. So I'll just go and place the screen back on as a scenario so that you all have a reference to work on your own cases. If you have any questions as you're building this map for your case, please raise those questions so that you are guided on the right way to build that map.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Khatija.
Yeah,
So
Khatija.
I have a doubt. The form that you have given in doing, thinking, and feeling, this
Mhm.
has to be written according to a user perspective.
Yes,
Okay.
because the process on the top is what the user goes through.
Yeah. Okay. Ma'am, in doing, before the customer buys our product, is he trying any other product? Can we write that?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You see, in case of an expensive product, say for example, Merck, he's buying a Merck, or
Hmm.
he's buying a car, or he's buying those expensive products.
Hmm.
It may be a trial run or test drive, as you can say. In case of some products, like a cosmetic, probably
Hmm.
the usage is like buy a sample or go to shop. There are always those samplers available for you to try on. So all that is part of your doing. That's your research in a way.
Okay.
Take 2 more minutes. Last few seconds. All right. Are we good to go? Is any one of you interested in presenting your as a scenario with the rest of the audience? We need more voices, team. We had very interesting examples yesterday, one on mental health, one on disaster notification. We had 2 user personas, Sandeep and Sandhya. So is anybody else having any such business opportunity for which you have a user persona for whom you can build your as is? Anybody wants to try?
So nobody is willing to present his or her idea. Maybe I think if you present, it would, Sushmita would be able to help you better your idea. So nobody willing to take that shot?
So can I?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Who's
Yeah,
this?
I'm Khadija.
Khatija. Go ahead, Khatija.
Yeah, as I told you about that, I have a startup where we build men's grooming products. So I was just trying on that. So in doing, actually I'm not perfect, and I didn't listen today's class so perfectly. So I might be wrong somewhere. Okay. So yeah, for doing section maybe there is.
Khatija, can you tell me what is the business opportunity or what is the need statement you're trying to solve?
Actually, we build organic products, okay, just for the men. They're a little expensive, but they're worth the cost.
Okay.
Yeah. So can I?
I still did not understand the need statement. When you say a need statement, you will have a user,
Okay.
you will have a need being met, and you have a differentiator, right? That's how you build a need statement. So, for example, I'm saying, say your persona. Let's name your persona.
Raju.
Raju. Okay, Raju. So the need statement goes like, let me just pull up that screen for you so that you are.
Okay.
This is how the need statement looks like. User needs a way, that is Raju needs a way to do something so that he gets some benefit. So in your case, what is that thing and what are that way to and so that? Say, for example, yesterday somebody was talking about that predicting the accuracy of a tweet on weather conditions, right? So that was like Sandeep needs a way to understand the accuracy of the weather information so that he can plan his trip more accurately and have a better experience. So that's how that hill statement works for Sandeep. Okay, so in your case, what exactly is this hill statement so that we understand what is the process he's going through?
Okay. I'm not able to build this proper sentence, but I'll just tell you what are the products we have. We have soaps and face washes, particularly for the men, in 3 categories: for the dry skin, oily skin, and the sensitive skin. I don't know how do I make a proper sentence for this.
No. See, what you're telling me are the solutions you've already designed.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we don't do design thinking with a how on mind. We do design thinking with what on mind. The solutions could be anything. Like you arrived at a product which is organic is because you have certain, you at some point must have thought Raju needs a way to be able to swim for a longer time so that or needs a way to maintain a skin health so that he can swim for a longer time, even in water. that was a statement because of which you might have, if you do a lot of iterations, you might have ended up with a solution called organic product is what is better for Raju, and you built that product.
Hmm.
Okay, similar way, if suppose you're doing sales, so if your concern is around sales, okay, then the user is not Raju. The user is yourselves. The management is the user there. Raju is not concerned about your sale.
Okay.
Correct? So it is Khatija, that is the user, who needs a way to double up or to increase her sales so that she makes 15% more profit next year or 30% more profit next year. Okay. So now what are all the ways in which Khatija should meet that need statement is based on understanding Khatija. So you are the center of, you are the persona now. If it is your need that is being met, then you are trying to increase the sales. Okay. Are you clear about the whole thing?
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah. So basically understanding who exactly is the user comes out of what is the problem you're trying to solve. So for example, so I remember this workshop where there were a team of students who were trying to build what do you call that drone, a drone which will be able to detect who is caught under a debris when there is a landslide or an earthquake. Okay, so when they were designing that product, they initially thought that that whole product they're building is for the guy who's stuck under the landslide. But that's not true. He's not the one who's using the product. He's stuck under the landslide. He's stuck under debris. He's dying. He has no interest on which drone is going to come and save him or which person is going to come and save him. Later, when they were doing this exercise of work, this workshop of design thinking, they understood the user is not him, but the user is that rescuer. The rescue department people who come to rescue that guy, they should use those drones to identify the thermal imaging of the person under the debris and figure out there is somebody lying there and alive. So that helps them, those rescuers help them understand that there's a person lying there, go protect that person, and that's the satisfaction they get at the end of the day. So it is the rescuer needs a way to identify the live body under the debris so that their rate of rescue is 100%. That's the Hill statement.
Okay.
So based, yeah. So you need to be clear about the Hill statement before you even build an as-is scenario. You need to be clear about your user statement before you build on an as-is scenario because you're building it for that user.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so can I try again?
Yeah, try again.
Raju needs a way to keep his skin healthy in a shorter period of time.
So that?
So that he can have a good skin for the longer time.
Especially while swimming, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's his need statement. So in that process, so what's the steps for Raju while he's wanting to get it?
Okay. So while so in the doing, researching on the ingredients, and asking a friend who has recommended him the our product.
Yeah. Okay.
Comparing it with the other products. Okay. So in thinking one is, are the views authentic that are available on the website?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do the company uses the natural products? Okay.
Yeah.
Will I get the perfect product or the good product that I have paid for?
Correct. So when you got what Raju goes through in the phase of researching about his product, what is he thinking? What is he doing? What's the feeling? This is the input you got about Raju as a management who is designing that project. Okay. Now you know that these are Raju's concerns. So will you be able to build your product or build a solution around his issues better when you know about this?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, Raju is looking for a lot of information. He wants information about authenticity of the product. Okay.
Yes.
So how do you bring authenticity to your product is what you're trying to solve so that Raju buys your product.
Oh, yes.
Clear? So
Yes.
maybe like food and drugs patenting or what do you say, certification, licensing may come up as an idea further when you're doing it. So as soon as somebody flips your packaging and sees that, oh, this is a licensed product by the drug association or food association, whatever it is, okay? I do not know who is the licensing agency. Then people believe those licenses, right? There's certain trust that comes with those licenses. So then I know, oh, okay. Similarly, for organic products, there is a licensing agency which authorizes that this is really an organic product. So by bringing that authenticity, you're probably encouraging Raju to buy your product.
Yes.
One step ahead. I will not say right away he will buy, but yes, you build a bit more trust in Raju to buy your product.
Yes.
Right? So we are not solving the how. If you see, how can be many ways, bringing certification or bringing a lot of user reviews or bringing in international experts to talk on it. You can have a lot of ways in which you can build the trust inside Raju. So those are all ideas, but identifying the pain point of Raju was what you reached as a first step.
Yes.
Okay, good, cool. So I think we took a couple of minutes here for discussion. So let's now I'm hoping everyone understood the process. Sorry, Khatija, we will continue from here. I hope it's okay.
Can you please explain me the feeling wala part?
The feeling. So, even at a point, say for in your case, Raju, what is he feeling every time he's trying to make the decision? He's feeling lack of information. So there's a bit of frustration. Yeah, so many products are in the market. Everybody is saying this is organic. Everybody is saying this is skill. Like today, as especially women, I'm sure you're flooded with so much of cosmetics in the market that you don't know what is niacinamide, you don't know hydraulic acid or hydrochloric acid or what so many names are there in market. How do we even know what product is for what reason? How do I know how much of so much of information is available? So there's certain anxiety in you, there's certain irritation in you as a customer that and there's also certain skepticism in you. Is this product correct? Is this price fitting it? I mean, is the ingredients and the price, is it worth buying that product? Okay. So all that goes into his feeling. He might be thinking those questions, but those thinking translates into certain feelings inside him, right? Those anxiety, skepticism, those are all the feelings he goes through.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Most welcome. Team, please, I'm hoping that you are able to gain a lot of insights by this discussion. So if you are going to open up yourselves, get more examples onto the table, we'll be able to discuss more and in more productive ways. So please, I need more voices here. If I want, I can take one-on-one session with Khadija or Alka or Vimla. Please.
Ma'am, I would love to join. I started following you on LinkedIn yesterday.
Thank you. But this session is for all of you. It's not just a few of us. Okay. So, and also if you are telling me lots of things from your product experiences, I will be the one who learn from those experiences that, okay, I don't know that there's a range of products available there for swimming which are organic. Now I know where to look for it. Similarly, I don't know, somebody is talking about mental health and they're trying to build something at your age. If you're thinking about building a mental health application that helps a lot of people, that's fantastic. Please come up with those ideas so that we can, discuss much further and generate more ideas that will help you shape up those applications or those products and services much better. All right.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, who's this?
Ma'am, this side is Ishita. Can I share mine?
Yeah, sure, Ishita. Go ahead.
Ma'am, actually, like if I just compare it with as a scenario, so like what we are trying to have is a plant care website. So where like the persona which I had took yesterday was like Radhika. She might be of the age 20 or something like that, and a student, and location would be the Delhi. And the
Okay.
general description I gave it to her is like she's a college going student doing her undergraduate.
Perfect.
So, and the attitude she was having, like keen to attach herself with nature, but being a student cannot spend much expenditure on plant caring, and
Okay.
cannot give like that much of time, and doesn't have that much of knowledge too about the plants.
Okay.
But like she's very much keen to be like attached to the nature somewhat.
Okay.
So so yeah, so as a scenario I had just completed
So
it
let
like.
can we just pause a minute here, Ishita, and
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
build the need statement. You've brought the person live. I now know who is Radhika, how she looks, what she wants.
Okay,
She's a
ma'am.
nature lover. I really picture Radhika well in my head right now. Okay, that's
Okay.
good. Now let's see what is that Radhika's problem statement or Radhika's hill statement.
Yeah, so the need statement is like Radhika needs a way to care for her plants so that being a student, she can save money and time.
Mm,
That
needs to
is
care. Yeah.
for her plants.
Okay, okay. So you're
Yeah.
saying that she needs a way to, she loves to invest in plants, but eventually, since she can't invest that sort of time and effort and energy in that, she needs a way so that the plants don't die and her investment doesn't die along with the dead plant.
Yes,
So
and
somebody has to
basically
take care.
yes, ma'am. And basically the main point is that at this age she might be not having that much of knowledge
Mm,
about like how to grow the plants.
okay,
So
okay, understood. Your need
yeah.
statement is well understood. Now can we, now you can build on that as a scenario. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. So like in doing the research she had done is like understanding the features of the site. Then the thinking she has done is like.
No, 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 no. How does she even know that a site exists?
Okay. Okay.
That's the first step, right? Like for
Yeah.
everything these days, what's the first step? We go first find it. Like understanding our own need is the first step. I mean, the user's
Okay.
own need. So you understood the user's own needs by making that hint statement. Then she starts, finding out how do I meet that need, that research. She won't
Yes.
land up on your website right away.
Okay.
Most likely not. But I wish she will eventually someday that you become so big that there's no other option like Google, your site is the best.
Yeah. So, ma'am, like we can advertise it. That's the only option, or maybe some friends. Like at the initial step, I think that it's only by the advertisement of the.
Oh, let's not mix up two problems, Ishita. It's now we are trying to solve the problem of Radhika and not
Yeah.
Ishita. So advertising is a problem
Okay.
of Ishita as the owner of that site and
Okay.
not Radhika's problem. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Radhika more. So she's did some research and your site came up probably as one of the options for her. So
Yeah.
she's doing that research in the first thing. Then she's probably thinking about, should I mean, what sort of products they provide, or she's having a feeling that I don't have time. How do I even engage myself with this activity? I love plants. They give me
Yeah.
so much of peace. So there's certain peace also. Like considering this, see, so far we talked about the services or product designs where there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of worry also. But in your case, where a person is more of environmentalist and or more of connecting with greenery kind of a person, she's probably also going through a feeling of peace when she looks at her own set of plans, right?
Yeah.
And then a bit of anxiety, like I need to be able to make these little things survive for longer, flourish better, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So she might be thinking, like, what would be the features? Will it suit my needs? For example, will it save my time
Hmm.
and all that?
Hmm.
So, in the thinking process, she might go for the wow factor of the site, like, why shall? So, sorry, that would come in the choose part. Like, why should I choose this site?
Hmm.
So there comes the wow factor, and then the feeling she might be having is like might not that the feature is effective for her like the way she's going through that, might those features would affect, so she should search for some other sites as well. So that is the feeling. And in the choose part, she might look like the wow factor, like what we had added in those were like the games which can save the time and which can make that attractive.
Yeah. See, you know what, Ishita? Both you
Yeah.
and Khatija, you both had a solution already at hand.
Yeah.
Okay? So you guys are working backwards. You are trying to build your user. I mean, you are trying to understand your user for them to reach to your product.
Okay.
So always your thinking is like, I have a product there. Why is my user not coming there? I have a product there. Why is my user not coming there? That's not the concept of design thinking.
Okay.
To start with the user and go build that product. Okay.
Okay.
So both of you, for some time when you're doing your design thinking, switch off that product available at the end of the journey, that button off.
Okay.
Think there is no website. There is nothing you're doing. And freshly start with your user and the pain points, identify the pain points. And if at the end of it, what are the big ideas to solve those pain points? And then probably evaluate the existing product you have to see whether those big ideas can fit into that product, that the existing product. Where do you have to improve that existing product? Don't keep it in your mind that this is the absolutely well-built product. So my user has no other choice but to start from from what you're giving. No, that's not how it works. You are empathizing with the user. The word empathy makes a lot of difference here. You're empathizing with the user, understanding his needs so that he comes and uses your product. And you actually are making your product usable by him. May I understand your user? Okay.
Yes.
So do you now all of you understand how the journey happens? See, all of us, like in most of us, we've lived in I would not generalize, but in my mind, I feel that we are living in a culture where giving a solution is considered as a very good attitude. Like you go to somebody, tell them your problem. The first thing they do is, even before they listen, is to give you a suggestion.
Yes.
Okay, even if you're traveling in a public transport, I don't know if how much of you travel over trains these days, but the journey, in the train journey, if you're sitting with a lot of people talking, they start making a conversation. So many people who you don't even know start giving you so many advices, so many suggestions. So that's how we are all, like we all jump to give solutions, but that's not the thing. Somebody has to listen. Somebody has to listen to that. What is the problem? What is the actual crisis there for the person? Let the person come open up, and then you probably can think of a lot of options and then finalize something that suits better to that person. Okay. That's the whole process. Are we clear here?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So team, where are we now? We just finished as is. We are running a little slow on the time. Do you want to take a break here now, or do you want to continue?
Continue.
Is that the feeling from everyone? Harshita, I'm just randomly saying names so that you can throw your thumbs. Jia, Priya, Afreen, Nikita, Namika, Vishwaja. Can we all agree that to continue?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. So yeah, now we have understood, like I said, in case of the Salad Studio example, if you see, when we built this example, there is a certain pattern that is coming as a pain point. One is the payment, whether it is expensive, not expensive. You see, in the research stage, she's also thinking about expense. In the purchase stage, she's also thinking whether did I pay more for it. You know, in the choosing stage, also she's saying, can I pay when I use it? So payment seems clearly, like the cost of the product seems to be clearly a pain point for Disha. Similarly, maybe some other pain point as to actually whether her nutritional need is getting met or not. How does she track that information? that also is coming out as a major pain point from the whole exercise. So right now, I want to pick up these two as a major pain points and try and address those pain points as the first important things to be addressed in the solution. Okay, that's how I will want to build my next set of ideas around these pain points. Okay, so when we are building big ideas, that is, we are solving a problem for a user, the ideation process requires you to be very broad, very conceptual, and not focus more on the user need and with no limitations. So usually whenever you throw ideas, you hear people saying, oh, this doesn't help, it is too radical, this is too much of a cost, or if you're in a corporate setup, probably there's somebody comes up saying it is against company policy, we won't want to do it. And that is our own skepticism. Like, am I throwing an idea which is entirely wrong? Is it too much to ask? So there's so many mental blockers. There are so many people around us who block those ideas. So as a team, when you're working to develop the ideas, don't put those limitations on your minds. So go as crazy as much as possible and bring those ideas onto the table, and then we can evaluate those ideas. Okay, don't restrict yourselves. So these are some of the pointers whenever you have to go through this ideation process. Please defer the judgment. Go for more quantity of ideas than quality. Quality gets built when you are discussing those ideas. Right now, we want as many ideas as possible, as wild as ideas as possible. Don't deviate from the topic. Like when we're going wild, we really go really wild. So stay focused, but go wild on ideas. If there are people with whose ideas converge with your ideas, there is a bit of overlap between your ideas, build on those ideas together, have a conversation. As much as possible, make those ideas visual so that, it's not a lot of theory to talk about, but you can easily relate when there's a pictorial form or a graphical form available. Stop giving feature functions. As soon as you start giving functions, you're going to the how of that idea. Like, I know Java, so I will provide that person with a product which has Java code in it. No, we are not worried about Java. We are worried about what the user need is, and we are looking at it. It could be through Java, it could be through Node.js. I don't know what all technologies exist in the world. So I'll figure it out later. Right now, I'm avoiding any conversation about feature functions. And don't go into much details. At this point, you're not solving the how, you're not solving what's the experience. You just are getting into as many ideas as possible. So that's how the ideation process works. All right. And consider it's kind of like, okay. So for example, I have here a sketch, a headline and a caption where I'm saying this is how I want to put up my idea when I'm discussing with my team. I have the idea is to have a personal chef who understands what you want and serves it up right on time. Okay, that's how I want to visually represent my idea. It could be as absurd an idea like this. Brain chip, get installed in people's brain and transfer all the knowledge instantly. So it could be as insane as that. Don't rule it out, but just keep it there. Okay. So that's the ideation. So if you go parallelly to the example which we're talking about. Okay, let's, these could be possibly some ideas that came up. Please ignore the graph part of the thing. Just look at the post-its for now. So some of the ideas, looking at what are the pain points Disha had. The two important pain points were about the expense, the cost, and about the nutrition goals, right? So people as a team came up with some ideas. Oh, why don't we provide her with a nutrition calculator, or some nutritional plans, or some flex nutrition tracker. or she can have around the payment, she can have flexible plans, she can have trail packages, she can have custom packaging so that the expense is reduced. She can get flexi delivery slots, she can get flexi payments, payment plans. And somebody even went while it's saying, we'll throw in complimentary doctor consultation once in a while. She's our loyal customer, we'll give her complimentary doctor consultation so that Disha stays with us. Disha buys our product. Or somebody even said, like, let's find out what's the source from which we're getting that fresh salad from. And once in a while, let's take all our customers to that farm to visit and feel them involved. Okay, the ideas can be as wild as possible as long as you're meeting the needs of that person. Okay, stay focused on the topic. That's what it is all about. So, any questions here? Are you all idea about? I mean, are you all clear about this idea of big ideas? All right. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Yes. I'll come.
ma'am, how these boxes are showing this nutritional calculus and all that? So they are related to this graph you are
Sorry,
showing
your
there, sir.
voice cracking. I don't know if it's just for me or for all everyone. I didn't hear.
Ma'am, that slide, can you open once again?
Sorry.
Message in the chat box.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll write message.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't really understand what you're saying.
I think we can take a quick break.
Okay. You can do that.
Yes.
A 5-minute break.
Yes. Let's take a short break and then we could maybe start. Okay, guys, till till Sushmita returns back, I think the focus here has to be on identifying the problem and then looking for a solution. If we already have a solution, then that might not be the most effective way for design thinking, right? So come with an open mind in terms of that this is the persona that I have, this is the problem statement that is there. I know it's very difficult to unlearn sort of the solution that we already have embedded in our heads, but maybe I think that would be more effective from a learning perspective for the workshop.
Yeah, perfectly said.
Okay, let's take a quick short break and then we'll resume.
Yeah. It says 10 minutes, but please be back in 5 minutes.
Yes. Let's all be back in 5 minutes because we're already running late. So be great. Thank you.
ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ ಬನ್ನಿಗಪ್ಪ ಒಂದಿಟ.
Hey, please let me know when you're back.
If you're back, you can react with a thumbs up.
I'm back. Okay, while you come back, maybe as the rest of you are joining, for those who are already back, maybe I'll start with a small story. Okay, so let me share my screen. Does any one of you know about this picture? You know what this is you're seeing on the picture? You can unmute and speak if you know. I the only one speaking?
Spurti has mentioned that it's a ship.
Looks like a ship. Sporting, that's right. Well identified. Any other answers? It looks like a ship, but what exactly is it? Okay.
A painting?
No, it's not a painting. So this is a famous story of design thinking in GE Healthcare. General Electric's GE Healthcare, you all must be knowing about the name. So now that I gave one clue, can anybody identify what this is? It's a healthcare machine. So what machine can look like this?
CT scan.
Yeah.
CT scan.
The MRI machine, CT scan, correct. So what happened is, that's the story behind it, is that whenever children have to go through these MRIs, they feel so scared because it looks like they're going inside a tunnel or a dark space. And so it's a lot of pain for the doctors to handle those children when they're going through the process. So in order to solve that issue for that user, the child is a user of that machine right now. So they made it look like they're going in a ship. So this whole design brought in a fun element that so that the children don't really experience a scary picture of hospitals and MRIs. And that solved it for a lot of children who was having a fun trip inside the MRI machine. So this is a very, one of the innovative ideas GE has implemented based on the design thinking workshops they had. Okay. I'll also leave you with one link. This link, this is a Harvard Business Review link. I think it should be publicly available for everybody. You know, Indra Nooyi? You heard about Indra Nooyi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, she's associated with which brand?
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
PepsiCo. PepsiCo is the company where she was chairman, and she was also CEO. And so if you see those soft aerated drinks, there's really not much scope of innovation there, but still they have to survive in the market where every day there's some new cola getting launched. So they went through a design thinking exercise to build a strategy on how to improve their market share. And so this whole interview with Indra Nooyi is part of the HBR. So you can go, she shared a couple of ideas where they came up with design thinking exercise, and she shared that in the interview. So it's a very interesting article and you can look into that. Now I assume all of us are back in the room. So let's go ahead and continue. And I may be a little faster from now on because we have a lot more to cover. So the last discussion we had is on big ideas. We finalized a few big ideas by doing a convergent and divergent thinking again. So how do we prioritize those big ideas is the next step. So usually there are 6 universal experiences that every customer goes through. One is at the stage of discovering, trying, and buying, and then at the stage of getting started, and then using it on an everyday basis, then goes through an upgrade or managing. And eventually, once you have the product, you need a kind of support, and then also leverage and extend it. So these are 6 universal experiences. So it will be good to have this on mind, because being mindful of these experiences will be able to put your product or design through understanding at which stage you are in and what are the needs that should be met at that stage. Whether your user is a first-time user, whether your user is just upgrading your product. Like, for example, you're building a mobile app and it needs a constant upgrading, how painful it is for the user. Or if you have already built a website and you want to provide support to the user, like if he's getting stuck and he wants somebody to handhold. So are you going to put a chat bot there to help answer? Are you going to give a call number, customer service number to be able to call and speak? So all these user experiences get categorized into these 6 of them. Okay. It's good to have them at the back of your mind. So once you have all your ideas and insight into the user experiences, or now you want to prioritize your ideas. And this graph, prioritization grid, is a graph which helps. So what actually is this graph is about? What does it help you in a way? It helps the team to reflect on the thoughts of everyone, shows clearly which ideas to pursue, and also drives the discussion. So that's the aim of having a prioritization grid. Okay. So how do you vote on those ideas? Like there's so many ideas. Now, how do I vote on those ideas? Maybe I choose a color scheme. Say I will use a blue color dot or blue color post-it on the ideas which are high impact, and on the ideas which are highly feasible, I probably will put a green color. So based on number of greens you get, number of blues you get on each of those ideas, you can start prioritizing those ideas. You can design your own scheme of doing how to vote on those ideas, but this is one such suggestion on how can you do it. Okay. So when you are putting a tip is not to cover up the writing, keep it as open as possible, and also keep your voting on the sticky notes itself like this. So I have so many ideas. Probably I'll group a few ideas, like or some ideas all related to financial impact, or some ideas all related to the anxiety around the quality of the product, some ideas all related to anxiety around payment procedures. So I group all those ideas into baskets and then start picking up most impactful solution that can address, or most feasible solution that can be thought to be, what is the next most feasible solution I should implement, so that the value to the customer gets built easier and higher. Okay, so this is how the prioritization grid looks like. So there is on the x-axis the feasibility for implementing, that is for us, and the impact for the user. So is it hard for us to build this feature, or is it very easy for us? So if we build a product or the feature into the product, is it highly impactful for the user, or is it low impact to the user? So that's how you're going to categorize your ideas into it. So you start placing based on your impact and feasibility dots, all the post-its on this grid. And you see a few of them are low impact, and even you're like, you spend a lot of time solving it. So it's hard for you, but it doesn't make any sense because the impact is so low. Sometimes it is so hard for you to build, but it is so impactful for the user. So if you see what will be the most sought after point on this grid, where do you want to invest your energies the most on this grid? As somebody who is designing the solution, if you have a few solutions that are falling on this entire graph, which part of the graph do you want to focus on? Is it high impact, hard to make, low impact, hard to make, easy to make but low impact, or easy to make but high impact? No answers?
Couple of answers in the chat.
Okay, sorry, I'm not following. Okay, easy to make, high impact. That's correct, Vishwaja. Yeah, easy and impactful. Correct, Spurti. That's right. So it is, if you can get more value to your customer but not tire yourself out, that's the best way out for all of us, right? So yes, the quadrant on the top, like where you have high impact but very easy to get that impact, is probably the no-brainers, very easy. Okay. So this is how the choices get built. Yes, like you said, the obvious choice or the no-brainers are the ones where the impact is high and very easy to build. In some of them, the next set comes as some of them are tough choices. Some of them are easy to build, but medium impact, not so much. And then like you want to weigh your options. Should I invest on this idea or some other idea? You know, how do I even, where do I invest my money or my energy in building that idea? Or sometimes if you have high impact, but it is it's kind of tough. You don't have probably a clarity whether it's very hard or it's definitely not easy. So those are kind of high bets, the big bets. You are going to place your bets like okay, let me do it. I'll do it. I'll be able to do it. Let's see. Because if I do it, then there's going to be high impact in that idea. And then you have those which are very not so impactful, but very hard also for you to make. So at this point, probably you want to save it for later and revisit them, because the hard part of your feeling, like it is the feasibility is tough, may change with the circumstances as you move forward in future. So there may be a better solution that came up, so it's no longer hard for you to make, or the impact also might change for the user. Today, this feature may not be very impactful for the user, but eventually over the period of time when the market is moving towards a different solution or a different point in growth, maybe that becomes a little more impactful a solution, which is probably now just at a lower point. So those are all something you would want to save for a later time and then address it as you move into the project and start working on it. So now you pick up all your post-its, place it into these parts of the grid, and there you go, you have your action plan right on your screen, right? This is how once you are actually doing a hands-on, the grid looks like that. Oh, there's so many ideas. Some of them are very obvious choices. Some of them are for a later date of using it. So if we shift back to our example where we were doing a prioritization. Yeah. So some of them, I think no-brainers will be easy, considering probably a nutrition calculator is a no-brainer. Some of them maybe are medium bets, big bets, like flexi delivery slots. I need to find employees who can deliver at the time. I need to find a way to deliver. So maybe it's high impact if I do it right. Okay, it's a tough choice, but it's not so easy for me. And something like very low impact, taking somebody to a farm visit. Do I know, like if somebody picks me up and takes me to a farm visit, will I go and buy their product just because they took me to a farm? I don't know at this point. So probably it'd be a low impact, but also hard because you need to really have to build that logistics system where you have to pick up people, take them somewhere, bring them back safely, and give them an experience. So it's really time consuming, investment heavy, and so I have now these ideas and I know where to place each of ideas, and I know what is the first action point probably I should start from once I able to place the ideas over the grid. Okay. So far with me? Is everyone with me so far? Any questions? So since we are a little short of time, now that you have already taken your own examples, built your empathy maps, and then also designed your as a scenario, and you and your team are better equipped than me getting to those big ideas. So together with your teams, brainstorm and get those ideas in place, and then use this grid. This is a template for you to put your innovative ideas into action, but giving you a clarity on what to prioritize and what to do for a later stage. So do this exercise, get those ideas, place them, and that's the next step logically for you to get your answers for the solutions you're building. All right. Any questions at this point? Shall we move on? Can I get some thumbs up, some reaction? Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
during the idea validation, we cannot, I feel like we cannot consider everyone's opinion. because people have opinions according, customers have opinions according to their needs, right? Like in my case, when I was taking boys' opinions, they said like they want a serum or something like that, which will stop their beard growth. Like this is something that's not possible, right? So there will be some scenarios that the situations or the advices that we cannot consider, right? So what do you have for this kind of
Okay.
situation?
Now. At what point in these ideas did we get the customer input? If you actually go back, these are all the ideas of the team who is working on those ideas. This is your team ideas. What you did was to identify your customer. You understood your customer's pain points. You understood what is the experiences that you want to give it to the customer. And then you are building those ideas to solve those problems. Okay.
Sorry to correct you, sorry ma'am, but this was something that user told me when I just asked him like what kind of product that's missing in the market and you need it, that's not there in the market. So he told me that I need this serum or something like that should just stop my beard growth but not my hair growth. Like, is that possible? Oh my god.
Okay, no problem. See, I think it was brilliant for you to bring up this point. If you remember, we were talking about the loop. Yesterday we talked so much, today we didn't even touch about that loop. So loop is about observing, reflecting, and creating, making, right? Now you're saying observing is getting user inputs, making is actually making the product. You're missing out on the reflecting point, then you're just taking the user input and making things. You broke that loop, say, of reflecting, which means you're just taking orders. If you remember that slide where we are saying we are breaking the loop, do you recollect that slide? Yeah, this is where. So here, if you see, you're observing and making it. That means you're just taking user order. You are not really reflecting. Reflecting is all about understanding whether your team has the competencies, your team has that sort of investment. Is it in sync with what you're building? Is it in sync with the context? You just cannot go start modifying your product because everybody is saying, I mean, there's so many ideas that keeps coming. There's so many things that get thrown at you. So you just cannot go and do it without reflecting. So follow that loop. You observe, you reflect, and then make it in such a way that it also solves this problem. If you're by reflecting on it, you're also agreeing it that it is necessary. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Okay. So I'll move to the next one. This is the to be scenario. We kind of reached to the end of our idea situation making, and like now we have an idea we want to pursue. So just we want to understand by pursuing that idea, whatever we want to accomplish, are we going to redefine the user experience? Let's go revisit that hill statement and see the solution we want to build and revisit the whole experience, the 3 steps or 4 steps in the user's process. With that product now available to the user, does the user feel that experience in any different way? So this is the to be scenario. So we go over the same set of steps, doing the thinking and feeling. And now all this red color pain points which we marked are getting solved into more happy experiences for the user. So the user is now able to come out of those feelings of frustrated, anxious, blah, 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 all those negative feelings he had when your product was not, or your service was not available to them, is now resolved in certain way by giving them that product. Okay. Say in case of Disha, where she is anxious about, say, the quality of the food, or say anxious about whether my nutrition is getting tracked or not. And you built a solution called nutrition tracker, or a monthly or a daily progress tracker or weekly progress tracker. Somewhere you are giving that input back to her. So when she looks at that product now, uses in her journey of building nutrition, now her anxiety around am I on the right path gets solved, right? She's no more anxious about whether she's on right path. So you have changed the user experience by that feature. You have changed by providing that solution, you're giving an experience which is happy for her, because she's now able to track her progress much better. So just do the same exercise like you did on as is. Now in a to-be scenario, in future, how do you want the user to be user to be experiencing the same journey with this product, and getting a delightful experience out of that. So that's all about to-be scenario. So after days of work, of the days of continuous innovation, as I said, this is how the room looks. It's a lot of ideas, diverged ideas, eventually converging into some action points, and you have identified what exactly is that feature or that solution you should be providing, so that you provide the maximum value to your customer or the user who is using that. So that's how the whole exercise gets built. I don't have any quiz right now, but so once you have all this, so if you remember, we had a hill statement, we have stakeholders, and we have playback. Those are the keys that help align us. So all through this process, you guys have to keep your stakeholders informed about the whole thing. Now, how do you keep your stakeholder engaged? Is not by telling them that this is getting built, so you wait, so we will give you something, but by giving something which they can feel and understand what you're building. So that gets done through prototyping. So these are low fidelity, rapid prototypes that help us to test the hypothesis or simulate the ideas. And the end result is that we are actually failing fast. If we had an idea which we thought will fly, and then once we start building the prototype, we understand that it is not working, there must be some modifications, so we are failing fast. So you're building your solutions more effectively in a shorter time with a better idea, and you're actually not wasting a lot of time in the process, but prototyping helps you simulate that quickly and cheaply. Okay, that's the whole idea behind prototyping. And there are different types of prototypes. You can make them understand through sketches and diagrams or 3D prints. You can wireframe it. You can build a video prototype, role play through virtual augmentation. Anything that is feasible for your users to understand the features. So that will be like fantastic for them to get a hang of the product, get a, like say for example, I am planning to design a mobile app, probably a few screens of mobile app. How does they look? Just get those, like first screen is my login screen. Second screen, as soon as they enter, it's a hi Sushmita, how are you? So you're customizing that experience for them. So get those screens built using paper models or using your virtual video prototype or whatever is that, so that the users can experience those prototypes and understand what exactly will be the final product like. Okay, and also can reflect in the process along with you to see what modifications can be done. So these are very timely, and changes can be made quickly than wait for 3 months for your entire product to be built, and then they come back and say, oh no, this looks bad, or you shouldn't have put this here. So keep them involved and get the feedback fast and keep moving. So now you built the prototype. The next step for you is to play it back to your users. Like I said, keep reflecting back with the users, communicate your ideas through visual stories, and help them understand how the product or the service fits into their lives and solves the problems they are facing, and move on. So that's about the final step in the whole design thinking process. Okay. So if I go back to that example which we're talking about, so my to-be scenario, my to-be scenario now solves a lot of problems. Disha, a lot of bad experiences Disha was facing. So now she has a calculator which can establish her nutritional needs. She has a plan to choose from. She has a delivery slot to choose from. She can even do a trial run. She just can order for 1 or 2 days and see if it works, and then probably go for a subscription. Okay, and then she can also track her goals through the tracker and compare the prices with the market rates, probably if possible. So she's now excited. She feels more, there's a more positive feeling in her that she can now relax and experiment in her own budgets and times. And she's excited to have so many options for payment, so many options to choose from. And she also probably seeing the feedback of happy customers can feel excited, like less anxious about the fact that whatever she gets is not something that is, something of a mystery for her anymore. So end of it, she has a better experience. And so the product can be now built around that. And this probably could be a prototype, like, as I said, user screen. Now the user screen for Disha, when she goes into the app and she clicks on that, maybe there's a basic input that asks for gender, age, weight, and height. And then based on these parameters, she gets a user screen which says, these are the nutrition requirements for your age, for your personality that you should meet every day. And so if there is a possibility for her to flexibly add her choice of what she wants to eat, and the calculator can simultaneously tell her that by adding, say for example, spinach, you are into your salad, you're adding this much quantity of calcium, and this is your requirement, and the requirements met or not being met. So add a little more, reduce a little more, or the iron quantity is met or the fiber quantity is met. So she can customize her own packages based on what she needs from her daily nutritional needs and go ahead and that. So this is a prototype which will help the user understand, oh, wow, is this what I'm going to experience? This is wonderful. I would love to be part of this whole thing. Or she may even say that, oh no, this cannot be a general requirement. I have medical issues. I cannot, take a lot of salt. I have BP. So then when you're reflecting along with your user, probably the input that she has medical issues make you think that the basic input cannot just be those 4 parameters. Now, probably you should also ask, do you have any prior condition before we suggest you some nutritional requirements? So when you're improving your inputs based on the feedback, simultaneously by involving the user, you're getting a feedback, and then you're using that feedback to build a product slowly and efficiently. And not all feedback need to be on the first time itself. If you understand the agile way of working in current world, you have to, what we do is to churn out the minimum viable product, get the product into the market, start building on all the features. Like today, you might be seeing the WhatsApp application. So WhatsApp is there for you. Every day, they're adding incrementally some feature onto it. Like someday there's a vanishing machine, someday messages, someday you have a way to record messages and send voice messages. So all these features did not come all at one time. You send out the minimum viable product to the customer and then keep reflecting back and getting the ideas, feedback from the customer, reflect on those ideas, and then keep adding those features as and when required, or as what is required or what is feasible. So that completes your observe, reflect, and make loop. All right. So that's the end of it, team. Now, I will leave the forum for any questions you might have. We have another 5 to 10 minutes with us. So if you have any questions, if you want to let me know what's the experience in these 2 days about going to this whole design thinking workshop, sort of classroom plus workshop, I would love to hear from you. I know I really spoke a little a bit faster in the last segment from the prioritization of ideas to prototyping and playback. If you have anything you want me to revisit and tell you once again, I am happy to do that. Any questions, any concerns, anything you want me to repeat?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Khadija here. I just want to thank you a lot. I don't know how do I thank you, but I learned a lot today. I love learning. So uh, yesterday and today I learned a lot, and I'm so happy that I think I'm going to have a good sleep tonight because I learned a lot of things. So yeah, just wanted to thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I started following you on LinkedIn. I don't know how do I connect you more. I want to just be connected with you. Is there anything else through which I can be in connected?
Let's talk. Let's connect first on LinkedIn, and we can take it from there.
Sure.
No issues.
Yeah, just thank you so much for all this information. Yeah, I think this is going to help. I have 2 more ideas. This will help me in that as well. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. I'll be happy if you can share a few good words with Vaibhav sir, who can also share it back with the larger IBM team.
Sure. I'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
We'll also have a feedback survey after we are done. Request everyone to fill that. We have some cool raffle prizes on completing the survey. So, overall, I think Sushmita, it was very wonderful. Like I said, last year I floated a problem statement and we were at IIM Udaipur, and, the kind of solutions that design thinking was able to come up with, they were, so individuals who have been in that business from 4-5 years, they could not see that solution. And when you showed that example of, GE on that children are not very okay with going inside an MRI. So you build it in the form of a shape, right? Again,
Yeah.
simple solutions to complex problems that when a lot of times we are overboarded with, ideas in terms of that this is the solution and we are limited by that scope. However, I think if we take a fresh perspective that you very clearly explained in these 2 days, I think this could be very useful, helpful to come up with some not very obvious, but very simple solutions.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I have a request from Alka here asking if I can summarize everything in a quick flow. I can do that. Let me just put up that chart. Now that we have, I will just put up that agenda charts, Alka. I don't have a flow chart per se, but this was the agenda. So this is sort of a flow. As you can see, we started with the user persona building, then empathy map, then need statement, as is, big ideas, prioritization, to be, and prototyping, and final playback. Now, but as I had a disclaimer yesterday, this need not be a linear process. So at any point, you might start with a user persona, go all the way to as is or need statement, and then realize that my user may be a different one. Like the example I shared where there was a drone being built for disaster management. And when we started with a user who is stuck in the debris. But later on, we realized it's not the user who's, the user is not the one who's stuck in the debris, but the user is somebody who is actually flying that drone. Okay, so nothing is a linear process. You can go to the big idea and then realize that there can be a change in the as a scenario, or then there can be a need statement change, or all the way you go to prioritization and then also go back and say that need statement can be corrected. So it's all again in the loop of action: observe, reflect, and make. Okay, so this is sort of the flow. I hope that helps. Can you share the PPT? I will send it out to Vaibhav, sir. Probably you can help and share it to the larger audience.
Sure.
And there are a few questions above. Let me see. Will you please share the PPT? I've already answered that. Okay. Yeah, I'll share it with the Vaibhav, sir, and you can say you can use it. And thank you so much. You've been wonderful audience. Especially love the enthusiasm of some of you. You have really made these sessions live because of your enthusiasm. For all those who really did not make an effort to talk openly, I hope you understood the concepts. I hope I was able to convey what is the thing, what is the expected result of this session. And if you have any questions, you can always circle back with Vaibhav sir, and he can come back to IBM team if he needs further inputs from any one of us in this team. Thank you really very much. But please, team, whenever you get an opportunity like this, as much as possible, please talk in these forums. There's nobody judging you. There's nobody really, standing there and trying to make fun of you. It's very important. Like, that sort of is a mindset also behind big ideas. If you see, you can really put ideas as ridiculous as possible. People may ridicule you at that point, but it's okay. We keep moving on. We that fear inside us that, oh, what will people think, that if I say something wrong, gets out of your system. So participate, and all the very best for your hackathon. Do well. And in general, all the very best for all of you in your life.
Okay, thank you so much, Sushmita. I think this was very short notice from our end, but you taking out the time and along with the whole IBM team to, do this session for us. I know we might not have been very interactive, especially today, but I think as we do more such workshops, I think that fear would go away.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Like I mean, all of you are still students, so I understand how it feels to be able to, talk on larger forums, especially involving corporate representatives. But that's okay. I mean, your generation are much better than what we saw when we were growing up. So just get out of that fear from the system. You'll all shine very well in life. All the very best.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. I've floated the feedback form in the chat. Request you to take out 2 minutes and fill that form, and you could win some exciting raffle prizes. Besides, it will also help us see what more sessions we can organize so that you could benefit more out of it, right? And best of luck for your hackathon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sushmita, again for joining in.
Thank you so much. Bye.